Good morning, my name is Josh from CyclonesOZ, and here is your detailed weather forecast update for Thursday, the 4th of September 2025. Heaps to get through in today's weather forecast update. Strong, severe weather expected onto the southwestern corner of the nation, and we've got some serious blizzard conditions forecast tonight for southeastern Australia into Tasmania and parts of Victoria. We've also got rainfall now on the forecast across the Northern Territory, Western Australia, and parts of North Queensland. I want to get through that in great detail later on this forecast update. If you are brand new to the channel, please do consider subscribing, but let's get stuck straight into things today. Just briefly over into the southwest corner of Western Australia. I promise I'll get to the more significant stuff later on in this forecast update. But for southwest and Western Australia, it's been an interesting 24 hours, that's for sure. Not only has the weather felt closer to late spring across the southwest around Perth and the lower west, but we've also seen some showers and thunderstorms fire up into the goldfields and into parts of the extreme eastern wheatbelt around Esperance and Ravensthorpe. In fact, this morning there's actually some pretty decent thunderstorms occurring right there, especially for this time of the year. Have a look at this just south of Norseman. That is a juicy cell there. This one here halfway between Norseman and Hyden, also a very juicy cell out here. There are some good thunderstorms outside of Kambalda and Kalgoorlie as well, and a few thunderstorms firing up towards the east of Kalgoorlie too. Unseasonable for this time of the year, sure, but very significant, that's for sure. And have a look at that, the lightning just flashing onto the screen right now. There's heaps of convective activity out there, and these are the most intense thunderstorms that I've seen in this pocket of Western Australia since probably about April or May. So it definitely is a sign of things to come. But that's not what we're expecting severe weather-wise. These thunderstorms will continue throughout the morning and into early this afternoon before firing down into the Great Australian Bight. But you can see the next weather system that we're going to be talking about approaching the southwest corner of Western Australia in the next couple of hours. This is a strong cold front. It means business, and severe weather warnings are likely to be raised as a result of this system here. Pushing into the southwest capes at around 2 o'clock early tomorrow morning, really crossing the coast around the southwest capes at around 5 a.m. and then moving into the Perth metro area sometime between 8 and 10 a.m. for the southern suburbs and around 10 a.m. For the northern suburbs and the Perth metro area itself. The leading edge of this cold front will pack a punch. There will be some strong wind gusts down around the southwest capes, pushing close to 90 or even 95 kilometres an hour. For the Perth metro area, it will be a little bit tamer. This is the sort of wind front that we see many times a year. It's not going to be too memorable. It's not going to pack too much of a punch, but it could cause the roads to be a little bit sticky in the morning, coinciding with rush hour as these systems normally do. But take a look at this. The low pressure centre of this storm, the heartbeat of this storm, riding quite far north. In fact, it gets itself situated just to the south of Windy Harbour here on the south coast, pushing across towards Albany later on Friday, and you can see that drags this front very slowly through the weed belt, which means better rainfall accumulations than what we would normally expect on a weather system like this to move through the weed belt. Falls between 10 to 25 millimetres are expected. Same deal around the Perth metro area from the initial frontal band of this system here, before you can see the vigorous southerly air mass briefly gets dragged up over the southwest corner of Western Australia, and the showers and the strong winds begin to pipe up from about Friday late afternoon into Friday evening. Now for the Perth metro area, this actually isn't expected to be too significant. We will see plenty of showers and the odd storm here and there through Friday afternoon and evening, especially through Friday evening into Friday night. It will be wet, but for the south coast, this is where the really severe weather is expected to be. Because this low, whilst it's not strong, it's expected to be in very close proximity to the West Australian coastline. It's going to have a lot of energy to throw around the West Australian coastline, and I'm particularly interested in locations between Yallingup on the western end of the southwest capes here, through the south coastal region, including Windy Harbour, Walpole, Denmark, and then across towards Albany, and then through early Saturday morning into Saturday afternoon between Albany across towards Esperance. I'm expecting a period of very strong wind gusts to develop, some significant and frequent showers to move through, small hailstones of course as well, and very cold temperatures to move through. It's really going to feel like the core of a winter weather system, or the core of a winter weather system with the shower band on the western side of it passing very close, because that's exactly what's going to happen here. For the Perth metro area, we're a little bit more protected because of the southwest capes, and these showers are going to come a little bit more out of the south, which means locations north of Perth up to Geraldton are actually expecting more rainfall and pretty much more of a significant hit than what we would actually expect, what we are actually going to see in the Perth metro area. And it's the same deal with the wind gusts here. There will be some strong wind gusts, but coming right out of the south, it looks like Perth is going to be a little bit more protected. That doesn't mean the same for Rottnest Island. They're going to be smashed by these wind gusts, and then same deal with the coast north of Perth through Landsland, Cervantes, Jurien Bay, and even up towards Geraldton. There will be some strong wind gusts there, and that also goes without saying for the south coastal region as well. Very strong wind gusts can be expected between 80 to 90 kilometres an hour, pushing closer towards 95 or even 100 kilometres an hour later on Saturday morning into Saturday afternoon, and a brief period of wind gusts up to 110 kilometres an hour possible to develop between Albany and Esperance through Saturday evening. And these winds will drop off and drop below severe thresholds later Saturday night into Sunday morning. But yet this little frontal system most certainly will pack a punch. It's going to be cold, it's going to be wet, it's going to be windy, a return to wintry weather across the southwest of Western Australia. Perth looking at a surefire 35 to 40 millimetres of rainfall, slightly heavier accumulations into the southern suburbs, pushing close to 50 millimetres, and then north of Perth around Jurien Bay and Geraldton, with 10 to 15 millimetres coming through from the initial front and up to 30 millimetres coming through from the showers behind it. We could also be talking about falls between 40 to 50 millimetres up there. Rainfall accumulations onto the south coast should push close to 70 millimetres. Albany is looking close to at least 50 millimetres of rainfall, and even Esperance could be seeing close to 40 millimetres of rainfall. Typically a lot drier than what Albany is, but on this case here with this storm coming through, plenty more rainfall is expected there. And widespread falls between 15 to 25 millimetres, pushing even close to 30 millimetres in places possible through parts of the Weed Belt, and that's reciprocated between other major forecast modelling. So very good to see we've got that good rainfall now coming in on the forecast models. Very happy to see it for the Weed Belt. Very happy to see it for the south coast. They will take this rainfall with open arms, that's for sure. Let's just leave stormy southwest and Western Australia behind now. There's not an awful lot going on the long range over there, so let's move over towards southeastern Australia. We have some pretty significant severe weather expected across Tasmania later this afternoon into this evening. It is definitely going to be a proper winter's blast, but you can see just how busy the Great Australian Bight right is right now. Have a look at how many showers and storms are moving through into the Tasmanian west coast, and we are expecting some very widespread, some heavy snowfall, and potentially some heavy rainfall as well, and some widespread severe weather throughout Tasmania. It's already begun. You can see heaps of showers and storm fronts moving over Tasmania right now, some strong wind gusts as a result as well. I'm trying to see if I can load up some of the more notorious wind observation centres such as Gaffs Hill, but it doesn't look like they're reporting right now. Mount Cyclone Island, 67 kilometres an hour out of the northwest, likely a lot stronger there with the storm fronts moving through. Low Rocky Point, 57 kilometres an hour out of the west, and this certainly is a significant storm that's moving through. You can see showers and storms are expected to enhance throughout the course of today. They will be at their worst later this afternoon into this evening. Showers are expected to die down a little bit later tonight into tomorrow morning, and then you can see showers actually clear pretty quickly through tomorrow morning and into tomorrow afternoon as a high pressure ridge builds. And the weather is going to be completely different tomorrow. It will be cool and calm, but it will be very collected. Have a look at this, 90 kilometres an hour here on what I believe to be the spirit of Tasmania. There are some strong winds in the vicinity of this storm system here, let me tell you. Have a look at how much snowfall is expected. This is just over the next 24 hours. Widespread accumulations through the high country of Tasmania between 20 to 30 centimetres, and snow right down to sea level as possible around the southwest Capes and the southwest wilderness region. Snowfall falling as low as about 200 metres outside of Strawn, and then about 300 metres into the northern parts of Tassie, and snow down to about 500 metres into the northeast of the state around the Ben Lomond National Park, and snowfall also expected down to about 200, 300 or 400 metres into the Hobart City area as well. So a few of the higher suburbs could pick up some snowfall accumulations. But yeah, major forecast models all very, very much in agreement with some very heavy snowfall accumulations coming through. This look at the convective forecast modelling here, much more accurate and high resolution snowfall forecast, and the biggest numbers that I'm seeing right now is about 30, even pushing close to 35 centimetres, and mark my words, that is very likely to occur. Very significant snowfall expected from this weather event, and it's likely to contribute to what has been a very snowy start to September and a very snowy end to August through a wide swathe of southeastern Australia, including for Victoria as well. Not to mention through Victoria, we are expecting blizzard conditions into the higher peaks as well. Later this afternoon into this evening, we will see showers and storms move through after about midday, and that will result in some blizzards above about 16 or 1700 metres moving in towards New South Wales as well. It would be a pretty isolated and a pretty concentrated event for Victoria and New South Wales. We're not expecting anything crazy to extend across either states. It's really only Tasmania that's going to get thrashed by this weather system that's moving through. And then you can see that high pressure ridge begins to build on Friday, and that keeps things high and dry throughout the weekend. Much more pleasant weather. A few showers could come through again on Sunday morning into Sunday afternoon through parts of Victoria, and then a bit of front moves through on Sunday evening for Tasmania. This one could pack a bit of a punch. And then another weather system, which leads me nicely on into the next part of the video update, which is what is happening next week. That's the headline across southeastern Australia. We do expect some kind of large or complicated low pressure system to develop somewhere into the Great Australian Bight, and that will traverse across southeastern Australia through New South Wales, South Australia, Victoria, the Capital Territory and Tasmania. It's not expected to be a significant storm in the terms of severe weather impacts, but it is at this point in time expected to be a storm that could pack a little bit of a punch, and certainly is something that we're worth mentioning at this point in time. Now, what I do expect is a small low pressure system, a pretty weak low pressure system, all things considered, to be dragging in some moisture through the Northern Territory, Queensland Queensland, and then in towards New South Wales, which will spark a thunderstorm outbreak from Monday night, and a pretty decent thunderstorm outbreak actually by the looks of things through parts of northern and western New South Wales through Monday. These thunderstorms persisting in a pretty small and mediocre capacity in towards Tuesday before firing up again Tuesday night around Dubbo and Orange into more central towards the eastern parts of New South Wales. And then this low pressure system kind of falls apart and transcends itself over into the Tasman Sea, and you can see it really doesn't get itself going there like the forecast models were calling for yesterday, pulling the rainfall and pulling the moisture away from New South Wales and then across towards New Zealand as we get out towards Wednesday and Thursday the 10th and the 11th of September respectively. There's now, the GFS is now calling for a large low pressure system to develop into the Tasman Sea. They weren't calling for that 20 minutes ago, but it doesn't look like we're expecting a large low pressure system or a large scale east coast low type weather system to develop into the Tasman Sea. In terms of what we have in terms of forecast model congruency, whilst the low is likely to move through southeastern Australia, I mean, how would we get this weather without that low pressure system? It doesn't look like we're going to be seeing the strong impacts of a significant low pressure system at this point in time. But considering that there is congruency a little bit later on in the week around Wednesday or Thursday with a large scale low pressure system into the Tasman Sea, we're definitely likely to see a large scale low pressure system at that time. But in terms of impacts to the southeastern corner of Australia for the New South Wales coast, for Victoria and for Tasmania, it looks like impacts at this point in time are going to be pretty minimal. So what I can say for certain right now is that showers are expected to be widespread, especially through the start of the week around the 8th, the 9th and the 10th of September through New South Wales, especially through Victoria and parts of Tasmania. In fact, we could see a pretty decent thunderstorm outbreak through parts of interior New South Wales as we get out towards early next week as well. So it's definitely worth mentioning at this point in time, and I'll keep close tabs on that forecast for you as well in the next couple of days. But this large-scale low-pressure system will bring rainfall and some much-needed rainfall as well to parts of New South Wales. Falls between 25 to 50 millimetres in isolated places around Cobar, Dubbo, even out towards Wanaring or Lightning Ridge, Moree. We could also see some good rainfall out there, and then rainfall kind of getting itself banked up against the Blue Mountains, and it doesn't make it over the mountains, so it doesn't look like Sydney, Newcastle, Wollongong, those saturated communities and saturated cities aren't going to see anything significant in the way of rainfall. But some good rainfall accumulations also expected into the Snowy Mountains and the Victorian Alps. Victoria actually looking at some widespread falls between 25 to 30 millimetres throughout this time period as well, with some good falls expected, some steady but moderate to heavy rainfall expected through Sunday, Monday, Tuesday and Wednesday, and the west coast of Tasmania remaining wet as usual. Also rainfall making it over the border and towards Queensland and the Northern Territory. I'll talk about this in just a few moments. That will do it for Eastern Australia. There's still plenty to talk about over there, but I'll get to that in the next couple of days when the forecast modelling is a little bit more congruent. Have a look at what we're expecting for the first, the second and the third week of September up in towards far North Queensland. Major forecast models going ham with rainfall expected up there. Have a look at the GFS calling for some widespread and pretty heavy rainfall accumulations, all things considered, especially for a GFS forecast here. The Eastern Bear also calling for a little bit more concentrated rainfall and a little bit lighter, all things considered, but for the Cassowary Coast and the Daintree Rainforest and even down through the Whitsundays, there could be some good rainfall on the forecast. So let's break that down for you right now. So as I'm sure everybody is aware, this weekend we're going to see some showers pipe up across northern Queensland with the southeasterly flow that's expected to get itself going. That's really going to make itself felt through Saturday afternoon and evening into Sunday morning before showers begin to pull away from North Queensland through early Monday morning on the 8th of September. Showers will still persist through Monday, but you can see Tuesday, Wednesday and Thursday, Friday as well expected to be drier before rainfall pipes up after next weekend around the 15th of September. And you can see we actually start to see some rainfall and low pressure activity begin to move through and towards the Coral Sea and getting quite close to the Queensland coastline. This then begins to develop into a bit of heavier rainfall for the North Queensland coastline. So what I can say for sure right now is that showers are expected this weekend, Saturday, Sunday and Monday. We are expecting a 3-day period of some steady rainfall coming through from the southeast up in towards far North Queensland. Widespread rainfall accumulations, as I've been saying for the last week or so, between 20 to 60 millimetres are a possibility, and some isolated falls pushing close to 100 millimetres are also a possibility around the Cassowary Coast. And you can see that here highlighted quite well on the forecast modelling here between Saturday and Sunday and Monday. Nothing too crazy, nothing too heavy in the rainfall accumulations there. And then pushing it forward, you can see rainfall accumulations expected to really back away from North Queensland until about the 15th of September, when rainfall does begin to get quite close to the North Queensland coastline, and we see a resurgence in shower and storm activity up there. I would like to say that the second part of this forecast is quite uncertain. After the 15th, we're talking about a long-range weather prediction reaching up in towards far north Queensland, and they are notoriously difficult even for far north Queensland, where the forecasting has become a lot more reliable in the last couple of years. But if we have a look at between the other major forecast models, long-range forecast suggestions and projections are all calling for some relatively juicy rainfall to develop after the 15th of September. So I would like to say that far north Queensland is going to be a location to watch after the 14th or the 15th of September. Rainfall-wise, we may see a 3 or 4 day period, or a proper 3 or 4 day wet period up there, and that will also go for the Whitsundays and around Proserpine, Mackay, and then even as far south as Rockhampton in towards central northern Queensland, we may see some decent rainfall in those locations as well. And that also goes for parts of interior Australia. We're going to see some low pressure and some thunderstorm activity develop around the Northern Territory starting on Sunday the 7th, but really moving through on Monday the 8th and Tuesday the 9th of September, before that abruptly eases off on the 10th and the 11th. And you can see a 3-day wet period developing through interior parts of the Northern Territory, north of Alice Springs, but impacting areas just to the north of Alice Springs and up around Tennant Creek and Docker River, for example. We could be seeing some decent rainfall accumulations from some isolated thunderstorms in those regions. Again, not holding our breath for anything significant because the rainfall is predominantly going to be coming through from showers and thunderstorms, so notoriously unpredictable, and is going to be a kind of wait and see what happens on the day type weather event. But just the heads up, through this part of the Northern Territory, you could be seeing anywhere between 0 to 50 millimeters of rainfall between the 7th and the 10th of September. Very concentrated heavy rainfall accumulations, though they're not expected to be widespread or frequent. They're going to be very isolated and quite concentrated in where they fall. But on that note, that's going to do it for today's weather forecast update. I do hope you found it enjoyable and informative. There's still heaps to talk about as we head in towards the wet season. It's definitely started a little bit earlier than what we would have liked for parts of northern Queensland, talking about rainfall on the forecast modelling. Now, if you have enjoyed this video, then please do leave a like, subscribe, and leave me some feedback or a suggestion in the comment section down below. I'd be more than happy to take a look at it, and I'll get back to everyone throughout the course of today. Stay safe if you're expecting severe weather in the next couple of days, and stay dry if you're up in towards North Queensland, or even in places that we're expecting the rainfall to occur in some unlikely locations in the next 2 weeks or so. But that is going to do it for me today. A special shout out, of course, to the channel sponsors. Their names are on screen right now. Could not own the show without them, and as always, their support is much appreciated. And that is all for me today, and I'll catch you on the next storm. Goodbye.